Hello, Charlie TCG here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I have a very exciting tabletop matchup in the Worlds format. Justin gears up to playing in his second World Championships in a few weeks' time. With myself playing Marnie's Grimmsnarl versus Justin, who is on Gardevoir. He's getting some very powerful new cards, with the likes of Air Balloon being added into Grimmsnarl, and of course Jellicent in Gardevoir. How exactly does this matchup really shake up, or is generally going to Grimmsnarl be a walk on the park over Gardevoir as it hits it for weakness? Before we get into the match, let's take a quick look at the list. Now, I'm going to be playing Marnie's Grimmsnarl, and this list is very similar to the one that got second place at the Japan Championships a few months ago. It gained the likes of Air Balloon, making it have that free retreat, which is incredibly powerful, what Marnie's Grimmsnarl really has to offer. And I've kind of changed it, like, what it's actually play energy switch, I've opted to play an Earthen Whistle, kind of optimized to get as many monkeys out as possible. It's in the matchup where we don't really want to use Frostlass, we constantly want to use our Monkey Dory all the time, so they're going to be bouncing any damage that counters on Gardevoir side anyway over to us. We don't really want to give them any more extra counters to play around with, so I'm not really going to be wanting to bench some Frostlasses and really prioritizing my Monkey Dories. We do have some trap capability with the likes of Raptors, and also deck is very powerful. I want to kind of win the stadium war by having that spike move, making sure I have access to as many of my Marnie's Pokemon as possible, and really utilize Justin's arsenal if he's playing. Now, if we look at Justin's Gardevoir list, we can see it does play, of course, a new 2-2 line of Jellicent. Jellicent is incredibly powerful with that item lock ability, as well as also tool lock as well, which is incredibly strong. It's 80 damage for 2 psychic energies, and if we've got 2 more additional to 160. Let's not forget, Frillish also, for 20 damage, does in fact get me item locked as well. The deck is definitely a TM Devo sort of approach, so he may want to be doing this as well, limiting me from using one copy of Red Handy, and of course stopping me from having access to my Grimmsnarls as easy as possible for my own team evolution plays. This is very fast, very aggressive. I love what Gardevoir really having to have to offer in this new sort of format. Can it really keep up against Marnie's Grimmsnarl hitting it for weakness? So let's jump right into the match. I'm starting with I'm Bundle. Justin is starting with Mew, and he is going first. What he's got to look to right now is to try and have a good support state. When it's Artisan, you could be looking over for the Frillishes, but generally you might want to get that Rolls as well. Really trying to establish sort of the board state as well to get out that Gardevoir sorted. Right now, he's just looking for the list. He's exactly what is versus prize. We see he does have both his Frillish. He has quite a few Rolls. His hand is looking pretty decent, does have Iono and Gardevoir in hand. So he could be thinking of maybe going for the Frillish, because it does have that 80 HP, so you won't be able to get it out from likes of Belly Puffin, so you may look to see if he's going to have out to get it overall. Could he potentially fin out his hand just a little bit more for me? But he's just opting air attack and passing, so not going for that Gardevoir. And I'm straight away going for that Arson. I want to see exactly what I'm working with, what I've prized, and I don't know if I can really get around this one. Having I'm Bundle in the active slot can be a little bit tricky, because I obviously can't activate its ability, and this is on the bench, and I will potentially have to sacrifice either my Air Balloon or a Darkness Energy to get that retreat. So right now I'm just looking to see how many monkeys do I have, how many the likes of Impidimp. So I'm opting to go with a Monkey Dory, as I do have an Arvin, so I can get out a TM Evolution and of course a Buddy Puffin. I'm opting to go for the Monkey Dory from Arson, because if I don't, I kind of access to that one from the likes of a Buddy Puffin. Here, so apologies for the glare, I just put TM Evolution into my hand. I've opted to do Buddy Puffin to get myself 2 Impidimps. I'm not going for Snorunt, as I mentioned before. I think Snorunt isn't going to be a good sort of call for this matchup. I don't want to give Gardevoir that free sort of damage counter it can work with. I want to make sure it can actually play around with the energies. So I've got the 2 Impidimp. I do have a Morgrim in my hand, do have a Darkness Energy, do have the likes here. I'm really discussing at the table. Is it good to do BMT Evolution play? So I do have a Morgrim in hand, and I'm opting to go for that Team Evolution. It will potentially give Justin that extra information that I've either prized one, or I could have one in hand. Going this sort of route, I'm having a bit more of a conservative sort of approach, and I think it's a really good way to have that established board state. I know there's no Gardevoir coming out there, but I could definitely get an item up. So we're seeing Justin straight away going with that Iono, stopping me from getting out that Morgrim. So we're seeing exactly what we're going to do. We're not obviously cutting in this sort of, because they are these sort of passing sort of games. I have a Spike Move, which is pretty powerful, and Justin, he does have another Frillish, but he does have Arson, so we can get out our Rolls finally, and he does have a Team Evolution as well. So then let's support it as well. Potentially could establish 2 Rolls, so into 2 Curlies, and then so now he doesn't need to worry about getting anything Gardevoirs at all. You see he's getting one of the Gardevoirs, getting Rolls, and with his Artisan potentially going to get out another Rolls as well, having that really good established board state, and we can see that's exactly the case, especially with a Team Evolution in hand. Anything else he can do? I believe that is a Team Evolution he's got attached to Frillish. Does have Ultra Ball, so we could go for the likes of a Jellicent. Just chucking on the Jellicent, having the item look against me could be really, really devastating. And also getting rid of Boss's Orders and another Frillish won't really come into handy, but he does only play 1 Gusting card. View to draw additional cards. I would say his hand is pretty powerful, especially for energy attachment. He can go into either attacking me, but doesn't get the KO, but he's using to go the team evolution and just going for two of those rolls. Sorry, Curliers. We know this really nice thing that item locks are things, so we know exactly if we are item locked. So right now I'm just going with Artisan to see exactly quick shuffle of the deck, going in for one copy of Grimmsnarl. Straight away I'm going for that Iron Bundle and easily establishing a Grimmsnarl there with two energies. You can see how powerful this deck really has to offer just from one evolution. I'm not getting rid of his Jellicent. I'm putting 3 damage counters on somewhere, which showing to protect my board. Literally, put that 30 HP, sorry, Dark Energy onto Salmon Curry and putting 30 damage onto one of the opposing Roltzes. Sorry, Curlius. Apologies for the glare. We didn't really expect it to be as bad when we're doing this video. So we're doing a Super because he does have 2 Frillishes there and he wants to use it in this game. He doesn't have access at all now to Arsenal, so he will have to bump my stadium if he wants to. And then I'm just doing this little organization. So I've got 2 monkeys, an Iron Bundle, a Shaman, and an Impidimp. Why did I bench Shaman? Well, I want to protect my board state from the Screamtails. Now over to Justin, he's just going straight out for a research. He didn't really get as many cards he wanted to see from his Mew. So what on earth can he get out here? Can he get out Gardevoir? He does have a red candy, but he does also have a Gardevoir in hand as well. So we can evolve potentially the damaged Gardevoir on the bench. And right now he's probably thinking of doing the Mind Bend. Doing this Mind Bend I think is great because it can make sure that like I'm confused, I have to find a retreat option or potentially attack into it. So we're seeing it here. Let's get the one Psychic Embrace into it. One, can't activate the Mukidori's ability because it doesn't have any Dark Energy attached to this one. Straight away, I'm now doing the Spikemuth. So try and potentially get out more Grim so I can get out of that Grimmsnarl next turn. It's great sort of shuffle up and potentially going. I think I do have a Gusting card in my hand. So I could go for the Gardevoir and poke the heads and get that knockout. See here, I do have a net stretcher, so just got my Dark Energy onto the monkey, and move that 3 damage counter onto it, onto the Curlier. Go into this gust here, and I'm just going to see, and that is head, so I do wipe out his entire Gardevoir board state, and I'm in a very, very demanding spot. Justin, I can't really see a way out for him. He could potentially see, if he could trap, and that's not really going to be the case, as most of my guys here do have a 1 retreat cost. He could get the retreat. He does have a Devo play, which is quite nice. Kind of like removing any of my guys, but I do have that Spikemuth in hand. I will straight away have a Grimmsnarl going into my hand as well. So we're just looking right now, but it doesn't really change too much of the board. Iono to 1, so we can see what I can work with. But right now, Justin's trying to have that trying to be a defensive sort of board state, but right now I have just such a controlling matchup right now. And you can just see how powerful Grimmsnarl is in this sort of matchup, especially against Gardevoir. We saw how strong it was against item locked, but now we're going to see what can Justin really do. If I was him, you could potentially look for a Munkidori play. I'm already confused, so it's fine. You can have a Dark Energy attached to Monkey, move 2 damage counters. But you can't get a KO. You can't do a Devo play because Morgrim does have a bit more HP than you would think about. Seeing he doesn't want to retreat, you can go with this one. Just go for the Adrenal Brain, move 20 damage, throw in 1 damage counter onto the Morgrim, and just going to pass. And here, I'm just going to go into Grimmsnarl. All I can is easily just retreat, attack into Monkey. There I go. I'm just going to put the 2 damage, 2 Dark Energies, and pretty much do have the Arvin just to check I've got Air Balloon, even to make my board just a little bit cleaner to know I had multiple outs into the deck and get the rid kill and get the trap. On to game 2, I am going first, and I'm starting with a Impidimp. You have an Artisan, and an already play this one. Having this Artisan playing it out, it can obviously get access to any of my Pokemon I want to have, get me access to my Mukidoris, establish them much more early on, but it does give that access to Justin and make sure he can get any of his basic Pokemon, which could definitely be a little bit of a liability of the way, but it helps his setup. And I can see a Secret Box in Justin's hand, which is really, really strong, but also 2 copies of Research or Iono, which is definitely a much more of a scary sort of card you want to see. Get Dark Energy established onto Munkidori and go into a pass. Opting not to attach to Impidimp because you don't really want to be attacking with it yet. I'm just kind of attaching to my Munkidori and establishing them as those are where I want the energies attached. So Justin right now is going for the Artisan and going, as he has Secret Box, he's access to pretty much all his deck. Probably just going to get out a Frillish or potentially Munkidori, Pokemon which can't easily get out from like some Buddy Puffin. Checking his Devo count, does have 2, which is really, really strong, especially in this sort of matchup, which you'll see lots of EM getting rid of it. And we're trying to see exactly what else he kind of like to look for and have to offer. We see he did get a Rocks, and really thinking of going, I believe it's Secret Rocks time, thinking about his discards, and it's quite tricky which one he's going for. Getting rid of a Research, Artisan, and I believe as a TM Evolution. We see this one to get out your other TM Evolution. And getting rid of an Artisan, and I already have one in play, and pretty good to search out an Artisan, can mean that I could potentially win the Stadium War. Gardevoir, as we know, doesn't play no more than 2 sort of Artisans, so that's already giving me that more information that if I just put a Spike Without in play, and he has to discard an Artisan, I'm going to be winning the Stadium rounds, and I can just get as many of my Marnie's Pokemon as possible. Thinking about what to get with, because he's already got research, he could get out another sort of stadium, a Sporter Cup, but that would mean getting that discarded if he goes for this one. Go for Iono and then Aston. So going for this one, potentially, if you are going to a research play, I would have potentially preserved Iono. I'll keep it into your hand for keep it still in the deck for using it in a later turn. Here's an Earthen Vessel, getting rid of the Artisan, which now I'm going with. I have now won the Stadium sort of war, as both of the Artisans are in discard pile. All I need to do is remove this Artisan from play, hopefully next turn. He does have Ultra Ball, but does also have a Gardevoir. He's just we're going with all kinds of switch discarding, but we're like, you've got to re-research anyway. There's no real need. Let's go for Ultra Ball, gain out that catch energy to Munkidori, Team Evolution, and going with Quick Shuffle up, and then going with that research discard in hand. Going for the Iono definitely is now sudden. Oh, sorry, he's just going for the Iono in the end, not a research. So preserving the research for a later sort of turn. Obviously, you see one less card, but that's still pretty good because I might have a really good hand. I want to restrict him. I see a couple of Darkness Energies in my hand, and Justin does get another Munkidori down. I'm just going for the Evolution, evolving into the Gelatin, as well as also your Curlier. I don't know why I'm always blanking on Curlier and Rocks. They're all very similar. Here I got Budded by Poffin, and I'm going to get 2 more Grims, or potentially just 1. Sorry, more Grims than Impidimps. So now I have a pretty good board state here. Go for the Artisan, get out my second copy of Munkidori. Right now, I'm thinking about where do I want to attach the energy. Just really checking if I have how many Evos I've got in my deck. I should hopefully have both of them. Believe in the deck, and that's kind of what I'm just checking to see. Do I have a good sort of opting into drawing into this one? So I'm thinking about where to put my energy placement. If I attach to Munkidori, that's great. I've got a Munkidori set up and established, but not attaching to my means that I can't establish that instance of acceleration VM Team Evolution play onto the 2 copies of Impidimps on the bench into Morgrams. So I have the research, and it's looking like it's going to be a very disgusting research. And you can see here getting rid of some key sword pieces, including that Earthen Vessel and Ultra Ball. And I did hit the Team Evolution, but of course I attached the energy to Munkidori. I had no sort of switching out, so I've got Bump the Stadium card, and it's actually my own one, and go to Spike Move, just get a Morgram. I'm thinking I'm just got probably best to keep it in hand. So I could evolve, but I'm looking at Gelatin right now, and as well as also a Curly on the bench, so that's pretty much going to be cleared, and we don't really want to give your opponent an extra sort of free price card. I don't have access to Filch, I'm just going to go for a Night Stretcher because I'm going to Item Lock, get more Darkness Energies in my hand. Thinking about, do I bench Shape with Siguri, because then I can access to any of my Stadium cards, supporter cards, if and whenever it's going to use that as an easy promoter, and just go pass the turn. So Justin right now does have Ultra Ball, as well as also a Darkness Energy, so a Psychic Energy, so he could definitely get out Gardevoir very early on. As well as also, I think he's got a couple of these Clefairy and Justin in the hand. So he's getting rid of Justin and getting out that Gardevoir, and now Psychic Embrace is live, which is really, really powerful. He can access to any of his Psychic Energies he has in his discard pile. There's at least 2 of them in there, which is pretty good right now. Get that first Psychic Embrace, getting for that retreat option, then go straight into Justin. And we're putting in the item lock. So we know that item lock is coming. Putting the damage counters on to Jellicent. And now I'm item locked and tool locked as well. So I am not be getting out any of you guys out as quickly as possible. So Justin is looking at a pretty good commanding spot. He's thinking if he gets a knockout, I can just promote a Tatsuguri, but then have access to, well, I need to Gusting to actually get out some of the item cards. So right now we're just looking at the board state. He's thinking, is it best to just pass? But if I do some damage counters onto it, but no, thinking of just attacking, I'll just promote a Tatsuguri. Going for a evolving into one of my Morgrims, and if I go for another Spike, I get out my other Morgrim as well. I really like having the item lock sort of counter in there because it helps me know, especially commentating it back, I know if I'm item locked, so I can't really play any sort of item cards as well. So now I've got 2 more Grims out in play, which I think is in a really, really good sort of spot right now. I have that sort of power up there. I don't have access at all to any of my Grimmsnarl. I can't get Red Candy. I'm just seeing if there are any sort of cards I need. I do have Iona, so I'm thinking about that one, just disrupt Justin's hand, make him have one less sort of card to draw. And now right now I'm thinking of if I do that as well, I could potentially get a fresh hand as well. The attachment energy attached to Guri, so I can use it as a free retreat pivot. And getting Iono as well, just shuffling up that hand and drawing a fresh hand of 6, where Justin is now limited to drawing up till 5. For the card I have Maractus, I have a Shaman, I want to protect myself from Screamtail, and 3 is a good sort of way just to pass. So yeah, just passing over to Justin, and he has a Devo, 2 Devos right now. So he could go into the Devo sort of play, which is a really unique one. Could go for the Devo play, make sure that I'm now 1 more turn behind in my Grimmsnarls, but I can't get Evolve them at all. So that's probably exactly what Justin is thinking. Flashing extra energy, and just quickly making the board a little bit nicer, and Iono as well. So I really like this play from Justin. He's really establishing that his way of how he can win this game is locking me out from getting out my Grimmsnarls. As all these Devo plays, we definitely add up in the end. He does have enough Foolish in his hand, so he's going to bench that, and does have another sort of rocks as well. So try and establish as many of these Gardevoirs as possible. Go for the Devo play, just chucking them straight back into my hand and passing it over, obviously, to me. We have Boss's Orders, which I do like, so I now have access to item cards if I would like. I can evolve straight into my Morgrim, so I don't have, obviously, Rare Candy. I could have opted to wait just a little bit. Only reason why, if I opted to do a little bit later on, I could see if I could get out a Rare Candy or way to actually find a Rare Candy from Asgay and Arvin. Anything else I can potentially play? I just want to count how many psychic energies he has around. I'm thinking about potentially trip something in with a Boss's Orders. But do I have a TM Evolution at all? So I'm boxing up the Gardevoir, so now I have access to item cards, but most importantly, I can evolve, get my team evolution. So you might go, why am I evolving one of my Grimmsnarls right now when I can't have access to this ability? The idea is that if Justin goes for another team evolution play, I know straight away I can bench down a Grimmsnarl and get those extra energies, or I'm just one Grimmsnarl away, and now I can evolve and have access to all of my energies out in play, which I think is great. So Justin right now is trapped here with a Gardevoir with no energies in the discard pile. Does have ways to get some discarding effects? I don't really see any, so we can attach to Munkidori for Dark Energy and just pass over to me. So he's basically giving me a free prize card. So, and I do have the Grimmsnarl already in hand, so just getting the last 4 energies in my deck, attaching them to both my Grimmsnarls. So now both my Grimmsnarls are now online. You're going to see that Grimmsnarl can be a little bit slower, and it does definitely struggle against item lock. But by having this sort of setup as well, I'm in a really good commanding sort of spot right now. Nothing from attracting customers. So a quick shuffle up. Potentially just going to go straight into an attack with Grimmsnarl. Nothing really else I can do. I do have other supporters. I don't really want to just in a fresh hand. There's no need for me to get any more. I'm just going to chuck 3 damage counters onto that Rolls. And see exactly what Justin can have to offer. What can he do? Get out another Red Candy Gardevoir, but both his Gardevoirs are in the discard pile. So we're seeing what else he can potentially get. Gets an Esprit out, potentially Serendipity to draw more cards. Maybe it's the route which he probably is thinking about doing. So let's see exactly what else Justin could be looking for. If he does Boss's Orders, he could potentially trap something like a Tatsuguri in the action spot, but we have to see exactly what I could draw into. So we're not just cutting, drawing into 3 cards. He does get an and a TM Devo and does have Counter Catcher. So he is potentially thinking about getting that busting stalling effect. We go into Shaman, as that won't really be a good sort of, perhaps it is a liability on the bench for me. So seeing exactly what Justin could be thinking about right now. Devo play is nice, but it doesn't really slow me down too much. I can go straight away into putting 2 Grimmsnarls out. Just counting the cards in hand, I do have 8 of them in there. Singing of an Iono. Thinking of Counter Catcher. Let's see what he ends up going with. There's a lot of thoughts and theories about this sort of matchup as well, because obviously it's very much more favoured in Grimmsnarl, but I do think it can be a little bit close if Gardevoir can set up this sort of matchup strategy. Passing into Munkidori, I think obviously that Mind Bend is very, very scary. Checking exactly the price of my account, see how many Dark Engines have discard pile. I do have 2. We go for Counter Catcher, Shaman, and then go with a Iono, go with a few less cards, can go for Adrenaline Brain, can go through getting the KO on the Shaman. And of course, getting rid of 2 energies, item in. There's 2 energies, 2 damage counters on his side. So this quick sort of shuffle up. I'm drawing 4, Justin's drawing 5. Let's see exactly what else he has to offer. He's very attached for turn. And I think of the Adrenal Brain. Could you just go on the Shaman? Because then you could just remove that damage counters in play. Because if there's anything on my bench, I can then play around with this. So yeah, he's just thinking about where to put them. He is thinking about trade period on the Shaman. Is he going to go for the retreat? But it is a very hefty retreat cost of Justin, or is he generally just going to go for the pass or just knock out with Monkey Dory? I would opt to go for the Monkey Dory play just so he has a single prize active, but it's opting to go with the item locks or capability. Will allow him to flip over the item locks effect, but it doesn't really kind of change too much, as I'm just pretty much thinking about just going to be a kicking to approach, or if I have boss's orders, maybe getting rid of that curlier on the bench. See exactly what the best thing to do, so I'm just going for the knockout and then putting 30 again on the curlier. So now I've just got 2 prizes left. Let's see exactly what Justin really has to offer right now. Does have Monkey Dory. Again, it could go back with the Mind Bend, and that's always never the bad shot. Get out the Gardevoir, so now he's access to Psychic Embrace, so all of his psychic energies he can attach to as many of to a psychic Pokemon as often as he likes. Then the Nest Ball, see exactly what he could be going for, a 3rd Monkey Dory. It's always not too bad, with as many Adrenal Brains as possible, moving all those damage counters, so he's not giving access to me any of these cards whatsoever. Let's see, and go for Iono. Every sort of time, this is a great sort of play if you go against Caesar Grimmsnarl, because you're not really having any good inbuilt draw. Sorry about that. So I think getting rid of that sort of my draw factor is the best sort of thing right now in this sort of matchup. That's exactly what Justin is kind of going with right now. He's going for the 2 energies on and Monkey Dory. I'm already having some damage counters anyway. I'm moving the 6 straight away onto the Grimmsnarl, which isn't too bad. And I'll send a 6 on there with the retreat. And I can easily get the win here. I'm going for Arvin. Arvin can get me the air balloon to get the free retreat. And then I can realize now I have the 2 Monkey Dories. I can Adrenal Brain onto that Frillish and then get the gear that way. I know I can just go for the retreat option, but I always like just to make sure I have that. It's all my outside, trying to push them as much as possible. Adrenal Brain, moving a 6 with the Frillish and knock out. So that is the matchup against Gardevoir versus Marnie's Grimmsnarl. Definitely going to be a much more of a walk in the park for Grimmsnarl over Gardevoir, but it's definitely a little bit closer, especially with the item lock. Let me know what you think about this matchup, and is there any changes you would do to these lists? Hope everyone is testing for Worlds is going well, and I'll be back next week for another exciting Worlds Tabletop video. See you guys then.